Seahawks fans, the 2025 schedule is finally here. That means football is getting very, very close. And we got an NFC West title in mind here on Seahawks Today. I need every one of you to do your part. Don't jinx it. If we get at least 500 likes on today's video, I guarantee the Seahawks are going to win the division. Do your part. Hit that like button. We'll get started with this edition of Seattle Seahawks Today. Tyler Jones, your fearless leader, here with you. Thanks for joining us. We have the Seahawks 2025 schedule official, and we got it a little bit early before it actually comes out to the public. So without further ado, let's wait not a second more and get started to tell you about the 2025 matchups. We begin week one with a divisional contest against the San Francisco 49ers. And the Seahawks are already underdogs in this game. Early lines out have the Niners as 2.5-point favorites. Then week two, the Seahawks will travel to Pittsburgh as they'll face an old friend, DK Metcalf. Could Aaron Rodgers also be along for the ride as well in that game? Going to be a lot of fun, whether it's Spoon or Reek or Josh Jobe, seeing them go up head-to-head with DK Metcalf. Can't wait to see how that game plays out. Week three, the Seahawks will take on the New Orleans Saints at home. We don't know who the Saints quarterback will be. I think in all likelihood probably the rookie Tyler Shuck, but time will tell when we get to that matchup. Clint Kubiak facing his former team. Then we have our first primetime game of the year. Week four, the Seahawks travel to Arizona to duke it out with the Arizona Cardinals on Thursday Night Football. Week five, Seattle will face the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and they will go up against Baker Mayfield and company. They've done a really good job, been one of the more consistent teams in the NFC, winning their division year after year. Week six, they'll face the Jacksonville Jaguars, Trevor Lawrence and company on the road, followed by a Week 7 contest where they will have another primetime game, this time against the Houston Texans. C.J. Stroud and his squad come to town with Joe and Troy on the call, the Hall of Famer, Troy Aikman. Week 8 is the bye week. Not a bad spot for the bye week, as that's towards the middle of the season. Good chance to kind of reset and get some rest before you get into the second half of the season. And they come out of the bye week with another primetime game, their one and only Sunday Night Football matchup of the year, as they face the Washington Commanders on the road, going up against Dan Quinn. Dan Quinn got turned down as he wanted that Seahawks job settled with the Commanders last year and had a terrific season, winning 12 games and getting to the NFC title game. Jaden Daniels was outstanding as a rookie. That'll be a tough matchup. Week 10, you take on the Arizona Cardinals for the second time in 2025 for a home game. Week 11, they'll face the Los Angeles Rams on the road for the very first time this year as Cooper Kupp makes his return to Los Angeles. Week 12, it's a trip to Music City, Nashville, baby. Man, if you're going to this one, folks, I am jealous. A road game in my favorite city in America. You get to party on Broadway, then go watch the Hawks on Sunday. In all likelihood, get a win there. Tyler Lockett, of course, playing for the Titans as well, so that'll be cool to see how that plays out. Week 13, the Seahawks face Sam Darnold's former team, the Minnesota Vikings. That game at home, though, I was kind of hoping, we knew that they were going to play Minnesota at home, but it would have been cool if he would have got to go back to Minnesota. But he will face his understudy, J.J. McCarthy, on the other side for the Vikings there. Then week 14, it's a road game at Atlanta against the Dirty Birds, the Falcons. Seattle won last year against Atlanta. Week 15 is a home contest against the Indianapolis Colts. And then week 16 is another battle against the L.A. Rams, this time on Thursday Night Football. A short week, a home atmosphere, and not to mention there could be playoff implications for that game as well. Week 17, you take on the lowly Carolina Panthers, who should be in tank mode, and then you wrap up the regular season against the San Francisco 49ers. We don't know if that'll be a Saturday or Sunday game just yet. We won't find out till we get closer to Week 18. So there is the full lineup for you folks. What do you think will be the Seahawks record in 2025 now that we know what the entire schedule looks like? This is our pinned comment today. Weigh in. Tell me what you think. How will year two go for Mike McDonald? Tell us in the comments section below. Today's show is sponsored by the Hall of Fame app. Have you ever been one leg away from hitting a massive parlay, but it got ruined by an unlucky buzzer beater, maybe an unexpected strikeout, or even a blocked field goal? We've all been there. I don't know about you, but I'm tired of throwing money at parlays that I have a good gut feeling about. That's where the HOF app has completely changed the game. The HOF app was founded by huge sports fans who just happen to be giant data nerds that graduated from Ivy League schools. The HOF app is going to give you a leg up on Vegas by using historical data, matchup grades, leg correlation tools, and player performance insights. I've won multiple parlays recently, which included the under on the Pacers Cavs Game 5. With a 4.9 rating in the App Store and over 6,000 five-star reviews, it's safe to say the HOF app has already helped a lot of people win smarter. For a limited time only, our listeners not only get a 7-day free trial, but they also get 50% off their first month when they use code CHAT at checkout. Just download the HOF app on iOS or Android, enter chat, and you're all set. The link is in the comments and the description of today's video. So let's go over some of the highlights of the Seahawks schedule in 2025, starting with that Week 1 contest against the San Francisco 49ers. This has been a lot of change that we've seen in San Francisco as they've moved on from some big names as of late. And now the Niners, they still feel like they have something to prove. They're coming off a season where they only won 6 games. Seattle finally ended the losing streak against San Francisco last year as they were able to get a win there in Santa Clara. I think this is a huge matchup for Seattle. Sam Darnold, Cooper Kupp and company to come out of the gates firing, to insert their will there. Going to be pivotal to start the season on a high note with a win against San Francisco there. Then you have some other matchups like the Bucs, the Jags. But how about that primetime game against the Texans on Thursday Night Football? The Texans kind of underachieved last year. They built up so much momentum from the year prior, where they had the breakthrough season from C.J. Stroud, and he kind of had a bit of a sophomore slump. Now you get to bring the Texans in, and we've seen in the past where it's been unfortunate where teams as of late, like the Buffalo Bills or the Green Bay Packers, have kind of taken over Lumen Field. I doubt that happens with the Houston Texans. This should feel right, should be the atmosphere that we're hoping for a primetime matchup in Seattle here taking on this Houston Texans team. It should be loud. It should be crazy. It's still mid-October. The weather should be fantastic. I cannot wait for this one, Week 7. And two very comparable teams. Both of them won 10 games last year. It'll be a good test to see where Seattle is at that point in the year. Who do you got in that matchup between the Seahawks and the Texans in Week 7? Give me your prediction. You going with the Seahawks or you going with the Texans? Type C for Seattle Seahawks. Type HOU for the Houston Texans. Tell me who you think wins that battle in the comments section below. Folks, you got to be subscribed to Seattle Seahawks Today. So we're bringing you our daily news and rumors, sometimes 2 and 3 videos a day. We also have live shows each and every Monday and Tuesday. We are bringing you watch parties for every game of this season. We'll react to the games in real time. You won't want to miss a moment of it, folks. It may be the off-season, but there's no off-season here on Seahawks Today. Daily coverage that you got to be locked in on. Subscribe now for free. YouTube.com/Seahawks TV. Never miss a moment. Lock us in. Make sure all your friends subscribe as well and be along for the ride with us all season, all year long here on the channel. So you go through some of the other games here. That Commanders game on Sunday Night Football, coming off the bye week, going up against Dan Quinn, Jaden Daniels. It is going to be a fantastic game. And here is another thing to keep in mind. I know that it's Sunday Night Football for now, but one thing that could change, that is within the flex zone. So if Seattle or Washington is struggling by that point in the season, this game could be flexed out. But I think with two major markets in D.C. and Seattle, there's a pretty decent chance that this game will still remain in primetime on Sunday Night Football. We don't see a whole lot of Sunday Night Football games anymore involving the Seattle Seahawks. We got one last year against Green Bay. Get this one against Washington here. And Washington, I think there's a great unknown. Are they going to take a step back this year, or are they going to continue to take steps forward to compete in the NFC? I think that's going to be a great game and could be a great quarterback duel between Jaden Daniels and Sam Darnold there in Week 9. Then Week 13. This game is personal for Sam Darnold going up against the Minnesota Vikings here. The Minnesota Vikings, they didn't offer Sam Darnold what he wanted, what he was looking for. They went with the young guy in J.J. McCarthy. And you look at these two teams, I don't think the Vikings are going to be winning that division. I think that'll be the Detroit Lions. And Seattle, they could win the division. They could be a wild card team. This could have implications for who makes the playoffs, how they're seeded in the wild card race. I think it's very fascinating to see how that game is going to go. I cannot wait for that one, and I think Sam Darnold is going to ball out. I would not be shocked at all if that's his best game of the entire season. What Seahawks game are you looking forward to the most? Of all the games we've talked about today, if you had to pick one, what would it be and why? Wait in the comments section and tell me what that is. For me, I think it might be the Steelers game going up against DK Week 2 right out of the gates. That, to me, has my full attention. Let me know what game catches your eye. So to wrap up, you got the Rams, Panthers, and Niners. Panthers, that's a gift to have that Week 17. Niners, maybe they've fallen apart and maybe they're tanking at that point. But that Rams game, folks, this game could ultimately decide the division. It could come down to this. It's a Thursday night game. It's at home. It's in prime time. They're on Prime Video. And then on top of that, too, one of the things, folks, that catches my eye, we mentioned kind of like with the Texans matchup, that they don't have a huge fan base. You should be able to hold serve. The Rams don't have a huge fan base yet. It's gotten bigger since they won that Super Bowl, since they moved back to Los Angeles. But you should be able to have full-on home field advantage for that game and should be a great atmosphere and environment. And then the injuries, I think, are going to be something to watch for. Is Cooper Kupp healthy? Is Matthew Stafford healthy by that point in the season? All could be a very interesting impact to how that game ultimately plays out there as far as that goes. So what will be the Seahawks record for 2025? I'll have a video coming out tomorrow where we're going to break down every single game in detail, and I'll give you my official prediction. But I want to hear from you guys. Predict it for me how you think the season ultimately plays out. Thanks for joining us here on this edition of Seattle Seahawks Today. If you want the Hawks to win the division, hit the like button. We certainly would appreciate it. I'm Tyler Jones. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.